Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Steal These Thoughts audio experience. As always, with me as your guide, take you through all of these thoughts that I share in many different channels. And today's episode is going to be a bit of a shorter episode because I'm loving these short episodes right now. And what I really want to talk about is kind of a introvert's guide to getting yourself recognized with your work. Because as someone who identifies as kind of an introvert, I always find the introvert extrovert tags a bit strange because some days I'm very loud, very active, other days I'm incredibly quiet and stoic, and I think a lot of us are. But when it comes to being quite a quiet person who is a peak performer or trying to be a peak performer, it can be very difficult to be recognized in yourself and recognized for your work. And also, like most people as myself who do have that introvert trait, you don't really like shouting about yourself. Now, I know I say this and I have a podcast and a blog and a newsletter and all this stuff, but I don't look at that as shouting about myself. I actually look at that as showing my work and sharing my work with others and trying to create value for other people as well, and taking that from a place of that I love to learn, and I know loads of other people that love to learn too. And by kind of showing my work or sharing my work, you could say, I give the ability to provide my viewpoint and for others to share their viewpoint as well, so I can learn too. And that's a great benefit to have in life in general, whether you are working a 9 to 5, whether you're doing a side project, whatever it is you're doing. So look, let's really crack into it and talk about what is that kind of introvert's guide to getting recognized. And I've said the phrase a couple of times already at the top of this podcast, but for me it's all around showing your work with humility. Now, what do I mean by that? Actually, I could say, what do I not mean by that? What I don't mean by that is to go on LinkedIn and shout about how awesome you are or awards you've won or anything like that at all. Look, it's great that people win stuff. I understand that. But shouting about on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever social media platform saying, look at me, and look at these awesome things is not going to win you kind of any fans or friends at all. So something that I actually picked up from an artist called Austin Kleon, and his book is called the same thing. It's a concept called show your work so you can share your creativity and also get discovered by other people. Because all of us want to build a brand. I mean, we do need to build a brand. Unfortunately, I hate the term personal branding, but in this digital world, you do need that footprint in order to not really get ahead is also a terminology I hate, but definitely to advance in the career game. You need people to know more about you than just a CV. I don't think nowadays just a CV is going to allow people to reach their dream job or career, because the world of careers is so different now, as many of you know who look at my work and the work I share myself. So actually what we need to do is find a way to show our work with humility, and a way to do that is actually to think about how can you create value for other people. And this is something that I do use myself, because those of you who do follow my work, you'll see, I'm posting stuff often. I'm sharing a lot of stuff. I do a lot of combination of my own work and my own thoughts, but also thoughts that I find really interesting and curious from other people as well. And the reason why I do that is that anyone that follows my work or follows my feeds, I think I have a responsibility, and I also want to make sure that I'm creating value for others. Just as with people I choose to follow, I will follow their work and follow their social feeds because they have created value for me in some way. And this is what Austin's book kind of focuses on, is instead of thinking about personal branding and making everything about you as an individual and saying, look how amazing I am, make it about your work. Talk about your work, share the things you're doing, share the thoughts that you have around particular topics. If you take me as an example, I shared a lot of work around personal development, career development, education, L&D, all of that kind of world of learning and growth. And what I do is just share it. I mean, I give, I think, nearly all of it out for free pretty much these days at the moment. And what I do with that, and my focus there is to, one, for sure, build my network and build my brand to allow me to potentially open doors to other opportunities that doing this work enables or empowers me, you could say, because just, like I say, having a CV and not doing that is not always going to allow me to get noticed by, let's say, bigger organizations, or be part of different careers that I may want to explore later on in my lifetime. So the ability for me to show my work on a scale allows that, for one. But then secondly, there is also that element of being able to really create value for other people, and then thirdly, to learn from others as well. And those two are great points to have. So, it's fantastic that I can build my network, hopefully get some credibility, and people will agree with some of the things that I'm saying. They disagree, great. I like to have conversations and find out different points of view. But it also allows me to create value for others, which is a really great thing for me personally, and also learn from a wider set of people as well, because I may have some particular thoughts, but there may also are people that have, counter thoughts, or someone can build upon what I'm saying, and that's really great to have there. So I would say, if you're an introvert, kind of like me, and you don't like doing the personal branding and shouting, and you really think that your actions should your actions should speak louder than any words, that is the correct terminology, then what I'd say to you is, look, show your work and share your work, and do it in a humble way. Do it in a way where you focus on the work. You're talking about the topics that you're interested in. You're sharing some kind of facts or data, or writing whatever you've done with other people, and saying, hey, I've created this thing. I'd love to know what you think. This is what I think. Let's learn together, and make it about what you can bring, that value that you can create for others. And I really think what you'll find is that people will start to connect with you and be able to build your network and build your credibility. And ultimately, as I said at the top of this, to get yourself recognized, to get yourself discovered or noticed, whatever you want to call that. That is the aim of the game. So for my fellow introverts out there, show your work, create that value for people. It is something that I really think will help you, build out that brand, if you want to call it that way, and get connected and potentially open doors to different opportunities that you may never have been able to realize by not actually taking that method of sharing. So that's everything I have to share today, folks. I hope that has been useful for you and its own way created value for you. If it has, I'd love to hear about that and hear your own thoughts on what I've shared here. You can do that, as always, by reaching me on my socials. So Twitter and LinkedIn is where I usually hang out. As always, please do visit the blog at stillthesethoughts.com for all of the latest stuff that's going on with my own work. And if you want to get a regular weekly dose of stuff that I'm working on and other people's work that I found and think is really great to share, then please do me the honor of signing up to my weekly newsletter that comes out every Tuesday morning, where I share all of that stuff. And that's it for me.